Have you ever wanted to team up with the profane fusion of Captain Jack Sparrow with Zorro, a Spaniard swordsman, and a giant wrestler? After teaming up, do you feel the urge to rescue a damsel in distress? Then enter Princess Bride, the adventure book board game, a cooperative game for up to 4 players with exactly that. And yes, this is based off of the movie, which is also based off of the book. And if you're sick in bed with a grandpa more focused on reading a book than spending time with you on a board game, then this can also be played solo. But is it a good game? Let's go over the basics and find out. Plotline. You're a grandpa reading a storybook to a kid that's sick. Meta plotline. You're following the story of a bunch of characters as they attempt to rescue a princess from the clutches of an evil villain. That's pretty much it. If you're playing Princess Bride or watching a movie for its in-depth, riveting Academy Award-winning storyline, you're doing it wrong. Gameplay. This game is divided into chapters with unique environment conditions and goals that must be accomplished. You have a hand of various funky-looking symbols and sometimes special action cards, and you are controlling a group of plot-armored characters trying to accomplish some meaningful goals in life. Accomplish a goal, and you get some inconceivable rewards. That reward is some extra bonus cards and the ability to move on to the next chapter. How do you accomplish a goal? Most of the time by putting on your pair of running shoes and meandering to the other side of the world to discard some colorful symbols before dabbing back and discarding more colorful symbols. Sometimes there may be a bad guy or banana peels in the way, so watch your steps. Most chapters there is some kind of unseen timer which can potentially result in a group defeat. These timers can be a deck of cards running out or a bad guy reaching in specific spots to point and laugh at you with their evil villain laugh. So, what happens if you lose? Well, remember, this is Princess Bride. The whole entire story is actually a storybook being read to a kid. In the inconceivable event that you lose, you basically lost the kid's attention. You make a desperate plea to keep the kid's attention and are forced to use the almighty spare life card before restarting the chapter. Lose a second time, and you have to start the entire board game again from chapter 1. So, what if you have 2 left feet and have sloth DNA spliced into you? Well, there are miracles on the board. They're like star power-ups. Reach the miracle space on the board and touch one of these power-ups, and you can add these special action cards to your hand. And you can do all kinds of wacky things with them. And maybe, with these miracle cards, you'll rescue the Princess Bride. Alternatively, you can save the miracle for a later chapter if you're one of those hoarding gamers. And along the way, there are some threats in the plots that are inconceivable.
You keep using the hoard. I don't think it means what you think it means.
These threats are often spawned at the end of a player's turn by drawing the plot card. These plot cards are basically just numbers, and you'll reference the chapter to see what kind of misfortune befalls our heroes. And a special rule of note. Players have 2 movement units that they can spend on any characters. That means you do not play one character. You play as the main plot characters. The A-Team, a holistic group of entities. Remember that. Why? Because that means someone else can totally move the character you wanted to move, and that can cause all sorts of wacky shenanigans. A single playthrough of this game is kinda long. Each chapter is about 15 to 25 minutes, depending on your luck and draws. If you're really bad at planning, like some kind of, Dilbert's inept managerial office boss, then it goes on for much longer. Much longer. Grand total for the whole game, I'd reckon maybe it's about 2 to 3 hours. Which is why this game has a save function. Which is a glorified way of saying, hey, just remember which chapter of the storybook we're on. But heads up, there's not that many chapters in this game. You're looking into single digits here, anywhere between greater than 1 and less than 7. And that's pretty much it for the gameplay. That's the Cliff's Notes version of it. So, what about production quality? Is this shoddy rose art quality papier-mâché, or is it something better? Well, the production quality of this game is actually mostly outstanding and inconceivable. Like, here, for example, take a look at this. Superior craftsmanship on the book, as if it were sculpted by The Rock's titanium abs. Like, take a look at this Chad of a book. You chuck this at someone's head, and they're going to be suffering from pain worse than a Sicilian poisoning their drinking cup. Then there are these little minifigures with fine details sculpted from a laser beam from Doctor Doom's lair. Super precise with a lot of attention to detail. Okay, so the details are there for the minifigures, but the plastic is kinda just meh. Which, don't get me wrong, okay, don't get me wrong. It's fine, it gets the job done. But don't expect ISS space station levels of durable plastic. It's just decent quality and it's color coded, but it's not like step on Lego piece and you'll die level of durable, okay? But you know what? It's still really good compared to most of the other board games out there. Definitely a solid level above the rest in production quality. But the best part of this game is the art. Everything has this painterly quality to it, as if specific items were cut out of a scene, run through a Photoshop filter, and then hand traced and painted with a watercolor brush. It makes it stand out compared to other movie board games, where they shamelessly rip off screenshots from the movie, then paste it onto cards and the boards without any edits or regards to color balance. In this board game, in Princess Bride the board game The Adventure Book, okay? They took time to make everything visually clear. There's no overlapping text with graphics, which is always a boon. The board has pretty good color balance and image placements, so it's not gouging out your eyes and throwing them into the pit of despair. The cards are simple and detailed and beautiful. The pictures overall look like they took effort to design. And most importantly, they really stuck to an artistic style of light painterly themes. Everything meshes and flows well together artistically. Again, it doesn't seem like they just ripped off images from the movie and plastered them randomly on the board. In fact, there are so many other movie board games that does that, but this isn't one of them. And you can tell that they put thought into clarity and playfulness and design, and wanted to make it as easy as possible for the viewers to understand that hitting the subscribe button and bell icon will give you more great content from me. Okay, yeah, that line was pretty inconceivable. Okay. Unfortunately, the overall gameplay isn't as wow as it seems. It's like the gameplay went up to my amusement and said, "Hello, my name is Princess Bride the Adventure Book board game. You killed my rating on Board Game Geeks. Prepare to die." It isn't a bad game, okay? It's not a bad game. It's a simple game and easy to learn and a good introduction for younger players to be eased into board games. But again, this game isn't hard, and there's not much captivation or tension or drama to keep me entertained. It suffers from the same problem most cooperative games have, where a single zealous micromanaging player, and you know who you are, may potentially take over command of everyone else and ruin their fun. The whole entire restart the entire game over if you fail a chapter twice too is kind of annoying, but you can make a house rule to ignore that. Is it the worst game ever made? No, it's definitely not the worst game ever made. It's just kind of, uninspiring and lacking substance. The entire game can be summed up as move these set of characters to a specific location, discard a bunch of matching cards, avoid very generic obstacles, and then repeat until chapter is done. Very monotone and robotic. The obstacles aren't very threatening either, and they can easily be sidestepped for the most part. And there's not that many options or branching paths you can take in the game either. There's usually only one very efficient and very obvious path you must take in order for you to reach the goal. And along the way, you hope to the heart of the cards that you draw the proper symbols as you meander slowly towards the goal. And it's all luck based. As an example, one of the chapter has literally, I'm not joking, literally only one path the character can take, meaning you're basically relying on luck draws. And if you're having problems in the game, you just basically have a character run up, grab the Miracle Star power-up, which basically boosts your hands options to Batman prep level, and bam, you're good to go. In Bonetti's defense, which, by the way, if you don't know, is the defense maneuver they used in the movie, this game is great for younger players who don't plan or think ahead. and the footprint of this game is quite small. You can play the whole thing in basically a cramped college dorm room, and the checkpoint chapter system means you can play in segments if you're short on time. But for everyone else, this board game has a very, very boring gameplay dynamic and lack of tension. Conclusion. Would I get this game? Depends, alright? If you have younger kids that you want to introduce into the world of board games, it's a maybe, okay? If the price is right. But I ask you this, there's plenty of better options on the market. Why this one? And for other gamers, especially cooperative gamers, it's a resounding no. Unless there's a massive, massive clearance sale around you, or you just happen to really, really love the movie. Yeah, you can have banter with other players and quote the movie in-game. But even then, the game has a hard time setting up the feelings of the famous movie lines. It feels like tacked on and dreary. Minor spoilers for those who haven't seen the movie incoming. Okay, so this is one of the examples, okay? You move Inigo Montoya onto the Count's space and expect a legendary duel between those two. You discard a bunch of cards and say his legendary line.
Hello. My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
And that's it. It's done. It doesn't feel legendary. You don't have the tension of Inigo almost dying. You don't get the zombie Inigo resurrection scene. And the game clearly doesn't reflect that because there's no mechanic for it. So, screaming out Inigo's quote really feels lackluster and empty. Look, unfortunately, as great as Princess Bride the movie is, the adventure book board game counterpart fails to capture my attention. It's like I'm the kid in the movie, okay? I just want to go and play some video games instead, because this board game is droll, boring, okay? And once you beat it, there's very little replay value. It's a shame too. This is a game that had a lot of potential. The artwork is beautiful and stellar, the production quality on the pieces are solid, and there is thought put into this game. But I finally understand. The word inconceivable. How everything else in this game is surprisingly impressive. But the gameplay is sorely lacking. It's inconceivable.
You keep using the word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
If you like this review, smash the like button. Leave a comment below if you bought this game and want to leave your thoughts on it. Or if you just want to go ahead and spam Princess Bride quotes in the comment section, that's fine too. It's all fun and games, so go ham as you wish. As you wish. Anyways, subscribe for more cool content and I'll see you next videos. Byes!
Let me put it this way. Have you ever heard of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates?
What about Sun Tzu?